Best Actress in a Supporting Role. And the nominees goes to Marisa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny.
Did you know Marisa Tomei's Oscar win in 1993 has been surrounded by whispers and speculation for over 30 years? It was one of the most talked about moments in award show history. Now, at 60, she's finally breaking her silence. What really happened that night? Join us as we uncover the story behind one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. Brooklyn to big break. Marisa Tomei was born on December 4, 1964, in Brooklyn, New York. She grew up in a working-class Italian-American family, where creativity and strong family ties played a big role in her life. Her parents, Gary Tomei, a trial lawyer, and Patricia Addie Tomei, an English teacher, supported her interest in the arts from a young age. Marisa was especially close to her younger brother, Adam, who would later also become an actor. Brooklyn, known for its strong sense of community and diverse culture, gave Marisa the energy and authenticity that would become a trademark of her performances. From an early age, Marisa was drawn to performance and storytelling. Her Italian-American background brought with it a love for expressive conversations, humor, and strong emotions. These elements would shape the kind of characters she would later portray on screen, ones who were often spirited, quick-witted, and full of life. Her family encouraged her to pursue her interests, and she began acting in school plays and community theater. These early experiences gave her a strong foundation and deep love for the stage. After graduating from Edward R. Murrow High School in Brooklyn, she briefly attended Boston University, but her passion for acting pulled her back to New York. She soon began auditioning and taking smaller roles. It didn't take long for people to notice her natural charisma. Her big eyes, expressive face, and energetic presence made her stand out in auditions. She wasn't a classic Hollywood type, but she had something that couldn't be taught: believability and charm. Marisa's first break came in the world of soap operas. In 1983, she landed a role on the daytime television series As the World Turns. She played Marcy Thompson, a character that gave her the chance to learn how television production worked and how to develop a character over time. Working on a soap opera was demanding. It required long hours and quick memorization of lines, but it helped Marisa build the discipline and experience she would need in her later career. In 1987, Marisa got a major opportunity that would take her from daytime to primetime television. She was cast in the first season of A Different World, a popular sitcom that was a spin-off of The Cosby Show. The show focused on life at a historically black college and featured a diverse cast. Marisa played Maggie Lawton, one of the few white students at the school, and her character brought a unique dynamic to the group. Even though she was only in the show for one season, the role helped introduce her to a wider audience and showed her comedic timing on a national platform. During this time, Marisa also began appearing in small film roles. She was featured in movies like The Flamingo Kid and Playing for Keeps, gaining experience on movie sets. She didn't have leading roles yet, but she was slowly building a resume and learning the craft. Casting directors began to take notice of her ability to bring warmth and realism to her characters. What made Marisa different from many of her peers was her approach to acting. She had a relaxed and honest style. Audiences felt like they were watching a real person, not someone performing a part. This natural quality made her especially good at comedy, where timing, body language, and authenticity are all key. Whether she was playing a best friend, a love interest, or a quirky outsider, she brought her full energy to the role. By the late 1980s, Marisa had earned a reputation in the industry as someone who was not only talented, but also easy to work with. Directors liked her because she was prepared and passionate. Fellow actors respected her because she was supportive and fun on set. Though she hadn't yet become a household name, she was on her way. And that's where things start to get really interesting, because next up is the movie that made everyone say, "Who is that?" Becoming Mona Lisa. In 1992, Marisa Tomei landed the role that would make her a star. She was cast as Mona Lisa Vito in the courtroom comedy My Cousin Vinny, a role that would not only bring her into the spotlight, but also define her career in ways she never expected. It was more than just a part in a funny movie. It was a performance that left a lasting impression on audiences and critics alike.
It's a bullshit question. It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
At the time, Marisa wasn't a big name in Hollywood. She had done some TV and a few small movie roles, but she hadn't yet had that one role that put her on the map. When casting began for My Cousin Vinny, the filmmakers were looking for someone who could play a tough, smart, and stylish New Yorker with a strong personality. The character Mona Lisa Vito was originally written with a sharp edge, a woman who wasn't afraid to speak her mind. She had to be loud, confident, funny, and full of heart. Marisa's audition stood out right away. She brought a mix of boldness and charm that no one else had. She felt real, and she had the accent down perfectly. The film's director, Jonathan Lynn, has said that Marisa understood the character deeply. She didn't just act the part, she became Mona Lisa. From her high-pitched, confident voice to her body language and attitude, everything about her performance was believable. The accent she used in the film was natural for her. Having grown up in Brooklyn, she already knew how women like Mona Lisa spoke, walked, and carried themselves. She didn't need to fake anything. That authenticity made the character feel alive. Mona Lisa's style was another unforgettable part of the role. Her teased hair, flashy clothes, and dramatic makeup made her stand out in every scene. But it was never just about how she looked. The humor and heart she brought to the role balanced out the fashion and attitude. Whether she was arguing with her fiancé, Vinny, or testifying about cars in the courtroom, Mona Lisa was always sharp and funny. Marisa delivered her lines with perfect timing, which gave her scenes extra energy. One of the most famous moments in the film, when she explains why she's an expert on car mechanics, became an instant classic.
Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62, which was not available on the 64 Buick Skylark.
She delivered it with confidence, knowledge, and humor, showing she wasn't just a side character. She was essential to the story. My Cousin Vinny was both a critical and commercial success. Audiences loved the film for its humor, clever writing, and memorable characters. Critics praised the script and the performances, with many pointing out that Tomei's Mona Lisa stole the show. The movie became a sleeper hit, earning strong box office numbers and later becoming a favorite on cable TV and home video. Over time, it developed a loyal fan base and became a comedy classic. In a year filled with strong performances, Marisa's work in My Cousin Vinny stood out. The Academy Awards voters took notice. Her role wasn't dramatic in the traditional sense. She wasn't playing a historical figure or crying through a tragic moment. But what she did required great skill. Comedy is hard, especially when it involves quick dialogue, perfect timing, and physical presence. Marisa delivered all of that while making her character both hilarious and deeply relatable. She brought something fresh to the supporting actress category, a comedic performance that was layered, full of personality, and unforgettable. Many people were surprised when she won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, not because she didn't deserve it, but because the Academy rarely honored comedic roles in that category. But her win was a sign that talent and originality could break through the usual patterns. Next up, we are heading into Oscar night, the moment that turned a surprise win into one of the most talked about moments in Academy history. The 1993 Oscar Night. The 65th Academy Awards were held on March 29, 1993, and for Marisa Tomei, it would become a night she'd never forget. Just 1 year after her breakthrough role in My Cousin Vinny, she found herself nominated for an Oscar, something very few had expected. She was in the running for Best Supporting Actress, and she was up against some of the most respected and experienced actresses in Hollywood. The other nominees that year were strong and well-known. They included Vanessa Redgrave for Howard's End, a legendary actress with decades of experience; Judy Davis for Husbands and Wives, with a role full of emotional depth; Joan Plowright for Enchanted April, a longtime theater star with a warm, touching performance; Miranda Richardson for Damage, a dramatic role that had received critical acclaim. Each of these actresses had a serious, emotional, and dramatic performance that seemed like the kind the Academy usually rewarded. Marisa Tomei, by contrast, was nominated for a funny, energetic role in a courtroom comedy. While many admired her performance, few thought the Academy would actually give her the win. The moment of truth came late in the evening. Actor Jack Palance, who had won Best Supporting Actor the year before for City Slickers, stepped onto the stage to present the award. He opened the envelope and paused. Then he announced, "Marisa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny."
And the Oscar goes to Marisa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny.
For a split second, there was a brief hesitation in the room, followed by applause and surprise. Marisa was clearly shocked. She smiled wide, took a deep breath, and walked up to the stage. She looked emotional, nervous, and overwhelmed, but also joyful. In her acceptance speech, she thanked the filmmakers, the cast, and her family. She showed real gratitude, saying how honored she felt just to be in the same category with the other nominees. Her words were simple and sincere. She didn't try to be dramatic. She just spoke from the heart. The audience in the theater gave her a warm round of applause, and many people cheered her on. There were a few surprised looks, but overall, the reaction was positive. People admired how humble and genuine she seemed. It was clear that she hadn't expected to win, and that made her acceptance even more touching. After the ceremony, the media had mixed reactions. Many entertainment journalists praised her performance and called it a refreshing win. Outlets like the New York Times and the Los Angeles Times ran articles on her victory, highlighting how rare it was for the Academy to honor a comedic role. Some called it a bold and exciting choice. At the same time, there were others who were surprised, even confused. A few critics questioned whether her performance was strong enough to beat actresses like Redgrave or Davis. These reactions weren't based on Marisa's talent, but rather on how unusual it was for a young actress in a comedy to win such a serious award. Still, her win was a big deal. It marked a turning point in her career. Suddenly, Marisa Tomei wasn't just the funny girl from Brooklyn anymore. She was an Oscar winner. It gave her new opportunities, and it changed how people in Hollywood saw her. No matter what anyone said, she had done something very few people ever do. She won an Academy Award before she was even 30 years old. But not everyone was ready to accept her win as it was, and that's when the rumors began. The Oscar controversy. For most actors, winning an Academy Award is the highest honor in their career. It's a moment that is supposed to be joyful, celebrated, and respected. But for Marisa Tomei, the joy of winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 1993 came with something no one saw coming: a cloud of doubt. What should have been a moment of pure recognition turned into one of the most bizarre controversies in Oscar history. The rumor started with a simple claim that Jack Palance, the presenter who announced the winner, had read the wrong name. Palance, known for his tough guy movie roles and deep voice, had won Best Supporting Actor the year before. On Oscar night, he was tasked with announcing the winner for Best Supporting Actress. When he opened the envelope and said, "Marisa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny," some people in the audience were surprised. Not because she wasn't talented, but because the other nominees were veterans of dramatic roles. Marisa was the underdog. Her win didn't fit the usual Academy pattern, and that made it stand out. That's when whispers began. What if Jack Palance made a mistake? This rumor grew over time into an urban legend. The theory was that Palance had either misread the card or simply called out the wrong name by accident. According to this version of the story, the real winner's name was someone else, one of the more expected nominees like Vanessa Redgrave or Judy Davis, and the Academy decided not to fix the mistake. The idea behind the theory was that it would have been too embarrassing to correct the error live on television, so they let it go and gave Marisa the Oscar anyway. It sounds unbelievable, but the rumor caught on fast. Why? Because it came at a time when people didn't question news from insiders and tabloids as much. And because Marisa's win was unexpected, people were more willing to believe something unusual had happened. A few media personalities, critics, and gossip columnists picked up the story and repeated it without proof. It became a popular theory, repeated in jokes, interviews, and casual conversations. Before long, people started to believe that something fishy might have happened on Oscar night. One version of the rumor even suggested that the actual name on the card was someone else's, but Palance had trouble reading it due to bad eyesight or confusion. Others claimed that he might not have rehearsed properly, or that the producers didn't know what to do once he said the wrong name. The most extreme versions of the story claimed that the Academy made a behind-the-scenes decision to go along with the mistake and hope no one noticed. All of these theories shared one thing. They were based on assumption, not facts. There was never any official statement or real evidence to support the idea that Palance had made a mistake. But that didn't stop people from repeating the story. Once a rumor like that starts, it can be hard to stop, especially when it keeps showing up in magazines, TV segments, and gossip columns. The media played a big role in keeping the story alive. Some entertainment outlets loved the drama of it all. A young actress winning over seasoned legends was already a good story, but a possible awards night mistake made it even juicier. Some shows and magazines hinted at the rumor in headlines or side comments, even if they didn't fully believe it. Tabloids, in particular, didn't need much proof to run a sensational story. A few quotes from unnamed sources or anonymous Academy insiders were enough to spread the idea. Pundits and Hollywood commentators added to the noise. Some repeated the rumor in interviews. Others joked about it on talk shows. It was never clear whether they truly believed it, but they knew it would grab attention. For viewers at home, the constant repetition of the story made it feel more believable. People thought, well, if everyone's talking about it, maybe there's something to it. What made things worse was the silence from the people involved. Marisa Tomei didn't respond to the rumors for years. She kept quiet, possibly because she didn't want to give the story more attention. The Academy also didn't make any strong public statements right away. There was no denial, no detailed explanation, just quiet. That silence gave the rumors space to grow. When people don't hear the truth, they often fill in the blanks with guesses or gossip. The truth is, the Oscars have a very strict process for announcing winners. Votes are counted by an outside accounting firm, and the results are double-checked. The winner's name is written on a card and placed in a sealed envelope. A representative from the firm is backstage during the ceremony to make sure everything goes smoothly. If a presenter ever read the wrong name, the representative would step in right away and correct the mistake, as happened famously in 2017 when La La Land was mistakenly announced instead of Moonlight. That moment proved that mistakes are caught and fixed quickly, even on live television. But back in 1993, no such correction was made because there was no mistake. Marisa Tomei was the rightful winner. She earned the Oscar with her performance, and the process worked the way it was supposed to. Still, the rumor lived on for years. For Marisa, it was an unfair and frustrating situation. What should have been a proud moment was turned into a question mark by people who didn't believe she belonged among the winners. The rumor wasn't just about one night. It became something she had to carry with her for a long time. But eventually, the truth started to come out, and major media outlets stepped in to set the record straight. Investigating the truth. As the rumor about Marisa Tomei's Oscar win continued to grow, it started to get serious attention, not just in gossip magazines, but from major media outlets that wanted to find out the truth. Many people believed the story that Jack Palance had read the wrong name when announcing her as the winner of Best Supporting Actress at the 1993 Oscars. Others were skeptical. Over time, trusted media organizations stepped in to investigate and explain what really happened. One of the first respected sources to address the rumor directly was Entertainment Weekly. In the years following the Oscars, the magazine published several pieces pushing back on the idea that there had been a mistake. In one article, they explained that the idea of a presenter reading the wrong name and the Academy allowing the error to stand was not only unlikely but nearly impossible. They talked to people who worked behind the scenes and pointed out how many steps are in place to make sure winners are announced correctly. Entertainment Weekly explained that when the Oscars are held, an outside accounting firm, at that time Price Waterhouse, is responsible for counting the votes. The accountants prepare the winning envelopes and have two identical sets. Two representatives from the firm attend the ceremony, each standing on opposite sides of the stage, ready to hand the correct envelope to the presenter. If anything goes wrong, like someone reading the wrong name, the accountants are trained to step in immediately and fix the problem. A few years later, Snopes.com, a website known for fact-checking rumors and myths, took a deep dive into the controversy. Their article was detailed and thorough. They gave a full timeline of how the rumor started and how it spread. They also explained why it couldn't be true. Snopes spoke directly about the procedures at the Oscars. When a presenter reads the winner's name, they are not only reading it off the card in the envelope, they are also reading it off the teleprompter. The teleprompter shows the correct winner's name, which is added only after the sealed envelope is opened backstage by the accountant. That means if a presenter accidentally read the wrong name from the card, it would not match the name on the screen, and the production team would catch it right away. That system acts as a double check to make sure the name announced is correct. Snopes also addressed the belief that the Academy would try to cover up a mistake. They pointed out that the Oscars are live, and trying to hide an error would only make things worse. The much more recent example of the 2017 mistake, when La La Land was wrongly announced instead of Moonlight, proved that. In that case, the mistake was corrected quickly on stage. It showed that the Academy and PwC take their roles seriously and do not let errors stand. Eventually, the Academy itself made a statement to clear things up. In interviews and press responses, they confirmed that Marisa Tomei was the official winner of the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 1993. They explained that the idea of Jack Palance announcing the wrong name without anyone correcting him was simply false. The procedures in place, including the teleprompter, the backstage checks, and the role of the accountants, would have made that impossible. Several people in the industry also stepped up to defend Tomei. One of the most direct responses came from Gil Cates, who was the producer of the Oscar telecast that year. He told reporters that the rumor was outrageous and completely untrue. He made it clear that Marisa had won fair and square. Other industry insiders, including actors and directors who had worked with Tomei, also spoke out. They talked about her talent, her professionalism, and how hard she had worked to earn her place in the industry. Despite all these clear explanations and defenses, the public's opinion stayed divided for a long time. Some people were quick to accept the truth, especially after Snopes and other respected sources stepped in. But others held on to the idea that something strange had happened. Maybe it was because people like a mystery, or maybe it was because Marisa's win didn't fit the usual Oscar pattern. Either way, the rumor continued to follow her, even decades later. What hurt the most was that the doubt wasn't really about the process. It was about whether or not people believed Marisa Tomei was worthy of the award. That kind of judgment stayed with her for years, even as she continued to prove her talent in many other roles. But years later, Marisa finally decided to speak up, and when she did, it added a whole new layer to the story. Marisa speaks out. For more than 2 decades, Marisa Tomei kept mostly quiet about the rumors surrounding her 1993 Oscar win. While others debated whether she had truly earned her award or if a mistake had been made, she stayed focused on her work. She continued acting in both films and theater, building a long and respected career. But in 2017, in an interview with the Times of London, she finally decided to speak up. Her words were honest, emotional, and deeply personal. The decision to talk about the controversy didn't come lightly. By that point, Tomei had been in the business for over 30 years. She had proven herself in dramatic roles, indie films, comedies, and even superhero movies. But the Oscar rumor never completely went away. When asked about it during the interview, she didn't avoid the topic. She faced it head-on. "When I was younger, it hurt my feelings," she told The Times. "It made me quite ashamed, actually." That one sentence said a lot. For a young actress who had just won one of the biggest honors in Hollywood, to then be surrounded by whispers and doubt was incredibly hard. Tomei admitted that the rumors made her feel embarrassed. She didn't get to fully enjoy what should have been a proud, life-changing moment. Instead, she felt like she had to defend her success, even though she had done nothing wrong. But she didn't stop there. In that same interview, she pointed out something important about the way people reacted to her win. "But on the other hand, it's a load of," she said. "I think it had to do more with the role that I played, that it was comedic and that it wasn't upper class. I think it was more of a classist thing, frankly." That quote struck a chord with many readers. Tomei was suggesting that the reason some people couldn't accept her win was not because she didn't act well, but because of what she played and how she played it. Mona Lisa Vito was loud, funny, street-smart, and unapologetically working class. She didn't fit the typical mold of an Oscar-winning character. Tomei believed that's what really bothered people, not the performance itself, but their own ideas of what an Oscar-worthy role should look like. By calling out the class bias behind the criticism, Tomei offered a new way to look at the controversy. Instead of focusing on the false idea that her name was read by mistake, she turned attention to the deeper issue: the lack of respect for comedic roles and characters who don't fit into upper-class, traditional molds. That 2017 interview was a turning point. It gave people a chance to see what the rumors had really meant for her personally. It wasn't just gossip. It was something that had affected her confidence and followed her throughout her career. But by speaking out, Tomei was able to reclaim the moment. She reframed her Oscar win not as something she had to defend, but as something she had truly earned and something she was proud of. Media outlets responded quickly. Many praised her honesty and courage. Articles in The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and other entertainment news sites highlighted her quotes and reflected on how unfair the treatment had been. Some writers noted that her comments were long overdue and shed light on the challenges many women in Hollywood face, especially when they succeed in unexpected ways. By speaking out, Marisa Tomei showed not only strength but also grace. She didn't lash out or attack anyone. She simply told the truth. And in doing so, she reminded people of something important: that talent comes in many forms, and that every win deserves respect. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story like this. Got thoughts on the controversy? Drop a comment below.